Hello and welcome to the Croydon Constitutionalist Pubcast, episode number 12. I'm Mike Swaddling and I'm here with the Croydon Constitutionalist Dan Heaton. We've both been away on holiday recently. I was lucky to be away earlier in the year in India, but first time we've both been away on sort of short breaks in the time of COVID. So Dan, you've been away this past weekend. How did you find it? What did you feel, and was it good to get out of your four walls?
Well, it was certainly good to get out of the four walls of my flat, absolutely, and to go off to Cheltenham. I went to the past weekend. Delightful place, highly recommend it. But travelling is a bit interesting. Being stuck on a train for 2 hours wearing a mask is not the most comfortable of things, especially in this heat. Mike, I think you went somewhere as well, didn't you, in the past week? How did you find it?
Yes, I was down in Winchester for a couple of nights. And to me, one of the great joys of train travel is that you take a 4-pack. It's a pubcast. We haven't mentioned what we're drinking, Dan. What are you drinking? Where are we, in fact? Oh, dear. We completely lost we've been down the pub a little too long, I think, tonight. But, I was down in Winchester. The great joy is buying a 4-pack. It's buying outrageously priced coffee when you change trains. It's buying a chocolate brownie somewhere. All of that's gone. Nothing's available at the train stations. It's purely a mode of transport. It got me where I needed to be. It was 2 hours. I can't pretend it was the worst thing I've ever gone through. But yeah, it wasn't the joyous experience it's maybe been in the past. I don't know how you found it.
So to answer your first question, we're in the South Croydon Conservative Club, and I am drinking Guinness, and I believe you are drinking some sort of dirty lager called Carling, I think. But moving on to the actual experience of travelling, I think last weekend, I believe, was the first time I've been on the actual tube since the lockdown, and that's not a great experience, albeit there wasn't that many people on the tube, to be fair, on the Saturday, and it is a bit weird to be on a train which is half empty, yet you are, well, even actually less than half the number of people that could be on the train, and yet you're having to wear a mask. You're having to book in advance, not to get a discount, but to book in advance to be able to be allowed onto the train. Certainly with the train company that I went with to Cheltenham, just for social distancing purposes, and yet you're also wearing a mask. So it doesn't really make much scientific sense to me, and certainly the experience is not what it would have been. But hey, on the positive side, at least I've had my summer holiday, which I was definitely going to be missing out on. The idea of going to Spain or somewhere for a week or two now seems to be out of the window, given that we're going to have to spend the next 14 days when you get back in quarantine, apparently.
Well, to me, and it depends what your travel situation is. For me, I'll be going to Spain to meet some locals, go to venues, mix with some other tourists perhaps, but enjoy a taverna. Now, obviously, if they're all closed, that's not a lot of fun. I am to have a couple of days in Winchester. Absolutely fabulous city, never been before. I looked back to the pre-Norman England and the fact the building of the time of England, and a great city to do that in. But the restaurants were busy. Eat Out to Help Out's working. I happened to be there in the early part of the week. The pubs were dead. Just wasn't the atmosphere. There wasn't the people out. The museums I was in, not very pleasant with a mask on. No atmosphere, very quiet, no people out now. Museum isn't somewhere you often go for atmosphere, but you do notice the lack of buzz, you really do. Great to get away, great place to go, but yeah, I'm not tempted to go spending my money doing that too often, and I'm not, we need to get things back on running, we need to ramp it up if I'm going to choose my money to be spent on another summer holiday. I don't know what your feeling was.
Well, I think there's a few things, isn't there, really? I mean, people are having to wear masks to go into shops, which is just ludicrous, because why weren't we having to wear masks to go into shops months ago? It's craziness. You could go into a supermarket months ago without a mask on, but now you have to wear one. we've discussed this on the podcast, but apparently it must be because they think that more people will go in them. Well, from what I've seen in the last couple of weeks, doesn't seem to be the case. It's not great. Can we move on from this? I think we can, because the level of COVID in this country is very, very low, and the government just needs to, suck it up and get on with it. The economy needs to rebound, because if the economy doesn't rebound, we won't have any money coming in to pay for any health services or anything else. So let's crack on. Let's try to enjoy some of our summer, and let's get the economy booming again.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And there's a thought here. We're recording this in a pub. We're actually getting to meet up, go to a pub and record this. Something we couldn't do for a few months. Something you can't do if you go into a shop, because you'd have a muzzle on. Something you can't do in a museum, because you'd have a muzzle on. Something you can't do on a train, because you'd have a muzzle on. But it's all right if you're having a drink or having a meal. It's a weird system, but we absolutely need to get back to normal. Not a new normal, just a normal. Having said all that, bit of a whinge. It was fab to get away. As much as lots of people had it worse than me in lockdown, but good to get out of the house for a while. Dan, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I think we should all get out and do what we can to help the economy and to go and get a bit of sunshine. It's going to be good for your immune system anyway, let alone for the economy and for your own sense of well-being.
And let's just hope the government actually sees some sense and makes that easier for us. Well, thanks everyone for listening, and do subscribe and listen to our podcast, read our website, and follow our emails. Many thanks.